Hey everyone, and welcome back to my Daily News X, your go-to source for sharp, focused takes on the biggest headlines shaping our world today. But I'm your host Kramer, and in this episode, we're diving deep into a headline that's raising global eyebrows. So yes, I'm talking about Mr. President Donald Trump's push to restart nuclear testing in the United States of America again. What's behind this bold move? Where would this test actually happen, and how much would it cost to taxpayers? But let's break it down so we can understand better the situation and what's happening today in America. According to reports from the Washington Post and Politico, the Trump administration is preparing plans to resume underground nuclear tests. The kind not seen since in the US since 1992, by the way, when the last test was conducted at the Nevada test site. Now, this wouldn't be live detonations in the open air, just to let you know. So let's be just calm and relaxed. Instead, they're what experts call subcritical tests. That means small-scale explosions designed to study how nuclear materials behave under extreme conditions, but without triggering an actual nuclear chain reaction. Still, this move signals a major policy shift. Since 1992, the US has relied on computer simulations and supercomputing to maintain its nuclear arsenal, a method that's both cost-effective and compliant with international testing bans. So the question is, why the sudden push for physical tests again? Well, there's a few reasons behind the move, according to, Trump and Trump administration. There's a few reasons behind this. I'm going to talk about one by one so we can understand better the situation and why you're actually doing this. But number one is deterrence and modernization. Yes, so Trump has repeatedly emphasized that America needs a credible deterrent, meaning the U.S. must be able to prove both to allies and adversaries that its nuclear weapons still work as designed and they're capable of destroying any target at any given moment. Number two, geopolitical signaling. Russia and China reportedly conducting low-yield tests. U.S. officials claim that restarting tests in a way to level the playing field and show strength. Number three, politics. Restarting nuclear tests plays directly into Trump's America First message, appealing to voters who favor military might and independence from international treaties they see as restrictive. All right, so let's talk about who's in charge and where would this happen. If the plan moves forward, it'll fall under the the Department of Energy National Nuclear Security Administration, also known as the NNSA for short. The most likely testing site, this will be conducted at the Nevada National Security Site. This is located about 65 northwest of Las Vegas, just to let you know. To give you a better picture of what is this, it's an enormous underground facility, and it's roughly the size of Rhode Island, so you can get a better idea and understanding. And it was originally designed for exactly this kind of testing, all right? Experts say it would take anywhere from 6 months to 2 years to prepare the site and infrastructure needed to safely resume tests, depending on the scale, of course. All right, so let's talk about the cost, risk, and repercussions of doing this actually live testing. So what's the price tag, guys? But nuclear scientists estimate that restarting the program could cost hundreds of millions of dollars. We're talking about potentially up to $500 million over several years. And this is just to modernize testing equipment, tunnels, and monitoring system alone. What are the risks? Well, they're not small. Critics warned that restarting tests could, one thing, undermine decades of global non-proliferation agreements, including the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty. So there you have it. Spark a new arms race as Russia, China, and possibly now North Korea ramp up their own testing. Also, even pose environmental and health concerns, especially for those nearby communities and veterans who still remember the fallout from Cold War era testing. All right, so let's talk about what are some of the global reactions and what are some of the media news are talking about this and saying, and actually what Russia is saying after Trump announced this. But Moscow's response came swiftly, just after the Trump administration announced this. Russian officials condemned the idea, saying it would destabilize global security and destroy what little trust remains between nuclear powers. At the same time, Russia hinted it might conduct its own tests in response, something that could reignite tensions not seen since the 1980s. So yes. Meanwhile, European allies are urging Washington to reconsider, warning that the move could fracture NATO's unified stance on nuclear disarmament. China, on the other hand, has stayed relatively quiet. They haven't said anything so far. But the state media called the move reckless and provocative. That's what they actually said today. What it means for Americans, all this, and the public in general. But think about this. If Trump plans goes forward, it will mark the biggest change in U.S. nuclear policy for over the past 30 years. Supporters say it strengthens national security and reaffirms America's role as a military superpower. But critics argue it is unnecessary, expensive, and dangerous, both to global stability and to America's moral authority on non-proliferation. I'll leave it up to you to what you think about this and what are your thoughts about this in your comments. And while it might take years before a single test is conducted, the political and diplomatic fallout has already begun. As of for now, guys, no official date has been set yet. And Congress will still have to approve funding for any large-scale testing projects. One thing is for sure and clear. This debate is about far more than just science. It's about power, perception, and the kind of world we want to live in. All right, that's it for today, guys, on my episode Daily News X. If you found this breakdown helpful, be sure to subscribe, leave a rating, and share it with someone who loves staying informed, family member, friends, coworker, your neighbor. I'm your host, Kramer. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, stay curious, stay aware, and stay informed. Thank you for coming, and have yourself a great day.